back to a brand new episode. In the previous one that you listened to, we talked about confidence. And today, we have someone super special. I know all my guests are special. She is the founder of Cocodry, Kim.
Hi.
Hello. I know. I always try to, hype my guest up, and they always end up saying, hi, what am I supposed to say? Hi, Kim.
Thanks for the introduction.
How are you?
I'm good. A little bit nervous.
I know. You told me you're nervous. I
Yeah.
think that's completely normal because even for me, sometimes I get nervous before an interview. But don't worry, I promise to bring your nerves back down to zero by the end of this episode, okay?
Okay.
But for now, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I think we've been wanting to get you on for a very, very long time. So thank you. And congratulations on your pregnancy.
Thank you so much.
I know.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Like, how did you find out and what was that like? Yeah.
How did I find out? How was that like? It all started in February, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us.
So, Valentine's.
Wow.
Well, there you go. Because honestly, everyone always asks me, like, when are you going to have a baby? Because I've been with my husband for the past 10 years. And I always joke and say that Cocodry is my baby. And when I first found out, I was really nervous. But then the thing is, I think early February, I also had a dream.
No way.
I had a dream that I was pregnant. And I remember after giving birth, I said to myself, actually, it's not that bad.
In the dream.
In the dream.
Got
So when I first found out, I was so puzzled and I was so confused because I was trying to how do I go from here? Like, how do I balance motherhood and building my career at the same time? And also at the same time, my husband was outside of my bedroom waiting for the result. So I was
He knew.
yeah, because my
guys did it
period
together.
is usually very accurate,
Okay,
very
got it.
punctual.
Yes,
and it just didn't come. So when he was waiting for an answer, and I was like, oh no,
So
it's
much
negative.
pressure. Okay.
Yeah, because I wanted to tell him properly. I wanted to surprise him properly. And
Got
he
it.
was I think he could
He's so
sense
nervous.
something.
Yeah.
And then he was like, show me your test result.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I was so annoyed, and I was like, I already told you the answer. Like, do you not trust me or what? Like, relationship is built on trust.
But he felt it and he knew.
He kind of knew, and I think at that moment I knew that I couldn't hide it anymore. So I was like, nah.
How did he react?
He was very happy.
Of
And then he started
course.
bursting with joy, rolling on the floor, and then, oh my
Aiyo.
god, is this real?
Aiyo. Oh, man.
And I think that's when I knew that everything is worth it and we're gonna figure this out together.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the whole point about having a partner.
Yeah.
The support, the trust, the love that you share between the both of you. Oh man, that was such a cute story though. Like, you're trying so hard to surprise him, but he spoiled his own surprise.
Yeah, pretty much. And he literally planned it. He's been wanting it for the past 2 years.
No way.
But I've always felt like I'm never ready. You get what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, I'm not pregnant, clearly, but from my conversations that I have with my friends who are mothers, no matter how much you prepare for it, even if you plan for it, you would never be ready for it. So that's what I know lah.
Yeah,
But
and that's
I
what
guess,
I've heard too.
Yeah, so
Yes.
and that's what you experienced as well.
Yes.
Oh my, okay. I think, of course, apart from Kim's pregnancy, you're 5-6 months in already. Oh my god, wait.
Almost 6.
By the time this episode comes out, August, it will be 6. So
I have 2.5 more months to go.
you got this, girl. Cocodry, right?
Thank you.
What does Coco mean? Okay, wait, don't tell me first. I want to ask
Okay.
you later. But yeah,
Sure.
the reason why we got Kim here today, of course, is apart from, her personal life and her baby that's on the way, that's in the oven brewing, we really want to know what it's like starting a business at such a young age, how you managed to grow the brand, lead an entire team, open your second outlet in the midst of a pandemic, just bringing your passion to life to empower and bring women together through what you do. I think that's just, first of all, very, very inspiring. And we have seen countless of media interviews about you, Kim. I think you're everywhere, okay? Every magazine, every online article, I've seen you. But today, I want to have a different approach to this conversation I'm about to have with you. I think I don't want to know what's already out there on the articles. I want to go back in time to really get to know Kim, who she is, who she was what she was like, and how you ended up falling head over heels for what you do today. Okay.
And I think that's also partially why I'm a little bit nervous, because no one has gone there before.
Thank you for giving me the honor to do that, though. I know it's a bit nerve-wracking, but of course, if it's too personal, please leave out the details. But I'm going to get started, okay?
Okay.
So Kim, tell us about yourself. I think we know who you are right now, but we would love to get to know your origin story, like where you were from, what was it like growing up for you, and what was young Kim like, the 5-year-old Kim like? Are you that curious child, that naughty girl, or that adventure seeker? Yeah, tell us in your own time, in your own space. Yeah.
Where do I begin?
Yeah.
5 years old. I think most of the people don't know that I was actually born in Alostar.
Oh!
Kedah.
Nice.
Yeah. But I never really considered myself like a Kedanite. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
But I grew up in Penang my whole life, ever since I was one. So I would proudly consider myself
Penangite.
a Penangite.
I love Penang.
Even though my IC is like 02, but it's okay. I would say my childhood hasn't been very easy. My parents are always working, so I was taught to be really, really independent ever since I was little. I learned to cook when I was 12. I had to finish my house chores before my parents came home. So I was kind of like the Cinderella.
Yes.
So that's what my friends called me.
Yeah.
My parents were very, very strict with me, and I think that I really appreciated that, because it shaped me into who I am today. As well as if I want something, I have to earn it.
Yeah.
You know, whether it is my studies, whether it is studying for my diploma, my degree, or even, I'll say anything that I do. Yeah, so I started working since I was 16.
Yeah.
So even the jobs that I have worked in is really random. Yeah, as a waitress, as a someone that actually, do you know about like the local thing where you actually bring tourists around?
Oh yeah.
So I
Like
actually sign up for that as well.
tour guide.
Like a tour guide. Like a tour guide. But then the thing is, the guy wanted more, and you know, it was very complicated. So I've actually put myself like out there ever since I was really, really young.
And is that something that you wanted to do yourself, or was it something that your parents encouraged you to, put yourself out there?
I would say both. They've always encouraged me to put myself out there, learn from my experiences, and they don't spoon feed me. Everything that I want, I have to earn it. Yeah.
I love
so that was me growing up, but I've always been very rebellious. So even if you ask me about
there's always a but, right?
but I'm very, very different. When I was in high school and when I was in college, I was a very, very different person.
Rebellious in what way, if you're able to share?
Rebellious in what way? I don't agree with every single thing that my teacher says. So there was once we got into this argument, right? And then she was like, "Why are you staring at me?" And I would say things like, "I'm not staring at you, my eyes are just big." Yeah, so that was the 13-year-old me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I think because of that, people in my high school has concluded that I'll never be successful. I'm useless. And I think that kind of makes me want to prove to them that I'm not. I even received my first letter of getting fired from a club in high school.
Because?
I wasn't performing.
Okay.
And I was missing a lot of like classes and attendance as well.
Yeah.
So I was very, very rebellious, and I was very notorious back in high school.
Back in high school. So I guess your high school friends who could be listening right now would be like, that's the Kim we know.
Yes, exactly. And that Kim couldn't even speak English fluently.
Really?
Because I was actually from a Chinese school.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I was actually from Binghua, so I spoke Chinese my whole life.
Mandarin.
Even my parents as well, they don't speak English.
Right.
So that's why my parents have always wanted me to have what they didn't have, like the opportunity to study, to further their studies in high school, because they were both high school dropped out. Yeah, so, and then at that point of time, I was just, if I want to be good at something, I have to put in the hard work, I have to put in the effort. I used to carry this book with me of like vocabulary just so that I won't be laughed at anymore.
Yes, I get that.
Yeah, so that was my high school days.
Oh man, I can relate to like a certain extent about not speaking English growing up. I think I also come from like a small kampong in Ipoh. So spoke Cantonese mostly, and my English wasn't that great. I would try to practice in front of the mirror and watch like S Club 7, Disney Channel, and then just kind of re-imitate what they say.
Yeah.
You know, That's So Raven, you know, those American
and
shows.
I'll like write down all the lines on my notebook.
Oh my gosh, yes, totally can relate. I think then my question is also, I want to know, like, who is your biggest influence? I feel like you're going to say your parents. Yeah. Who's your biggest influence and the why?
And the why? I would say my childhood.
Yeah.
Especially my dad.
Yeah.
The thing is, I've always admired people who are self-made. And my dad is one of them. He came from a very poor family in Alostar, where everyone used to live, like he and his siblings and parents lived in a very small room. He wanted to provide for his family. He fell in love with hairstyling, and he went to Penang, started his business at the age of, I think it was his early 20s, 2021, without any experiences or any resources. And I think it was so courageous of him, and it's really inspiring to me. So I actually grew up seeing the rise and fall of my dad's hair empire.
Yeah. And speaking of your dad, I think we have to give Uncle Simon a shout out.
Yes,
Hi, Uncle Simon.
Uncle Simon.
I've been, of course, I had to do research of my guests, and I found out that your dad is called Uncle Simon, and he's very well respected in the hair industry. He built his own empire, and I think I don't know if, tell me if I'm wrong, you guys started a salon in Penang as well.
Yes.
That's called Wave Salon. Is that the one that you have it with your father, or how did that work?
So what happened was, hair impression was the hair empire that my dad built.
Yes.
And the salons and academy that I basically like grew up in.
Yeah.
Like, I would go to that salon every single day before going to school.
Yeah, also nice
just to help my
hair
dad
done.
out and have my hair done too, like hair wash and like styling, high ponytail. Yes, and then I think it's been about like 20 over years ever since it started. And I think at this point of time, it wasn't relevant to the market anymore. He used to have 10 outlets, but because of partnership issues and so on, so like he had to close down every single outlet and only left with one. And even that one was really struggling because of MCO and because it wasn't catering to like the millennial market. And the location itself has become, it is at Komtar. Like I think for those who are from Penang, it's very dodgy.
Yes.
And no one literally goes there. I wouldn't even want to go there.
Yeah.
So he was on the verge of like really giving up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that was when I gave him 2 options. And I was like, okay, Daddy, you have 2 options right now. Number one is you trust me into building a new brand with you, because I know that for him to let go of hair impression, his love, baby, his love, something that he's built for all 20 over years is going to be very difficult. But I also believe that it is the right time to act and to change. And secondly is me being a filial daughter and give him a monthly allowance. But then the thing is, I just couldn't see him giving it up, because I grew up watching him hosting seminars, right? Like performing, you know, like in hair shows. And I'm be like, oh my God, like that's my dad on stage. You know, I was that little girl. And I just couldn't see him giving all up. So I was like, why don't you do this with me? And he said yes. And I think at that point of time, he also started trusting me more because of Cocodry, because of what I have built. And that's how Wave was born.
That's amazing. I mean, can I just say, I admire you so much, just up to this point of our conversation. The amount of courage and the vision that you have, not just for yourself, but the people around you.
Honestly, it's very scary. Like I was so scared because it's my family at stake. It was my dad's one last hope and one last chance. So I was like, it's different from Cocodry because I cannot watch it fail. Like no matter what, I have to make it work. So that was your mindset too? By hook or by crook, this is where I'm going. I'm going to make it work. Especially when it's for a family. I think the stake is so different.
And how many years in the Wave Salon, when you had that conversation with your dad, how many years in since you started Cocodry? A year in?
I started Cocodry in December 2019. Wave was born in November 2020.
Not about a year or so. My gosh,
Yes.
Kim. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us now about Cocodry. Like, before we dive into it, what does Cocodry mean?
Cocodry means confidence in women. Like, we wanted to bring out the confidence in women, not just from how they look, but also from the inside as well. So community building is very important to us. Yeah.
And is there a meaning behind the word COCO? I remember you said it's a combination of two words, confidence and
confidence on the outside and confidence on the inside.
Yeah. So at first I thought coconut. To be honest, when I first heard it, I said coconut. Oh, maybe that's why it's all very summery, very bright yellow. Then I remember seeing one of your posts saying, oh, it's actually confidence on the outside and confidence on the inside. And I'm like, oh, it's not coconut. What?
But actually, okay, so this was the story.
Yes,
right?
tell us.
When I wanted to bring the blow dry bar idea to Malaysia, so I was just like brainstorming like what name would be best. And then I was like, okay, my friends, okay, what about blow bar?
Blow.
So I know, right? So that was the reaction that we got, especially from guys. They're like, oh my God, blow bar, blow me. Like, I'm like, oh my God.
It can go south quite fast, yes.
Exactly. And I was like, okay, that's not the impression that I wanted to give. Like, my purpose is different. It's not that. It's so misleading. So
it's a funny story though.
Yeah, and then after that, a friend was like, okay, because it was so hard to think about names,
Yes, it
like,
is. Trust me, it is.
Yeah, like head over heels and
yes, correct. I mean, finding the name and the meaning behind it and having it to align with your vision, it's not easy.
yes, aligning with a vision, and that was not the vision I wanted.
Not blow bra, for sure.
Not blow.
Okay, and then
my friend was like, okay, let's think about fruits.
Yeah.
And then we're just throwing in names like, like apple, orange, and then like coconut.
Coconut.
And then someone was like, what about Coco Hut? Like a place where you can offer different services. It's so fun, it's so chill.
Yes.
Like so Bali, so beachy.
Yes.
And then I was like, but it's a blow dry bar. Cocodry. Yes. So that's how Cocodry was born.
Amazing.
And also I was trying to think, okay, I don't want it to be just a name. I wanted to have like a meaning behind it. And I remember like the core of why I wanted to do was really to empower women, to make them feel confident. So coincidentally, I was like, okay, like CO stands for confidence. So that's how it happened.
Beautiful, how it all just fell into place from blow bar.
I
mean, that's how brainstorming works, right? You just gotta throw in everything and weed out the ones that doesn't work and look at what you got. I think I love it. Okay, of course, we all know Cocodry, and if this is your first time hearing about Cocodry, go find them on Instagram, and the next time you need to, blow dry your hair, you've got a good spot. Trust me, I've been there a couple of times. Pretty sure, clearly I didn't go today, so my hair is just straight, but Kim's hair is just beautifully blown. But yes, okay, I really want to know though, really, I know now that your dad had a hair empire. So that really makes so much sense why your DNA is in this industry as well. Like you grew up watching watching your dad do what he does. But what gave you the idea to start a blow dry bar? Because like you said, Cocodry is the first successful blow dry bar in Malaysia. Apparently it was one previously, but they didn't make it. Like what gave you the courage to still go for it?
What gave me the courage to still go for it? I think at first I was really scared.
For sure.
I was really scared that I was going to fail. I was really scared I was going to disappoint the people around me. I was very scared that I was going to lose all my investors' money as well. But I think when you think like rationally, like what is the worst that could happen? Yeah. Right? And then actually it's not that bad because the thing is I'm in a very privileged position. If anything goes wrong, if I really fail, I would still have a roof on top of me, right? I can still go back to corporate. Yeah. So when you actually weigh that out, it's not as scary as you think it is. But then when you think about what about the possibilities if you were to make it, the opportunity is endless. Yeah. And honestly, Cocodry has opened up so many doors to me, which I've never ever imagined. Yeah. And even back then, I actually have this tattoo on my hand. It actually says fearless. Because I think when I was younger, I have always been very fearless. Like if I want something, I'll just go for it regardless.
Yeah.
But as you grow up, you tend to have much more like things to consider, a lot of worries, wondering how people will see you, wondering what happens if you fail. And I think, being fearless is just really, yes, you're scared, but you still go for it anyway. So I think that really pushes me to start. And I don't want to live in regrets. I don't want to be like, if someone has done it and I could have done it, but I didn't do it just because I was so scared, I'll be so mad at myself.
Yeah. I think for sure. Like, I think it's better to regret something that you did than to regret what you wish you did.
Like, what if? Like, you can't live with what ifs.
I cannot live with what if either. And so would you say this is your first business venture? And if it is, what gave you that leap of faith? I think you just answered that. But if no, what was some of your first foray into entrepreneurship? Is this your first business ever? Ever. Never even done anything?
Never.
Oh, wow. 26 years old.
Yes. So I consider myself really lucky and also to have met a lot of amazing people that has helped me along the way. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think I have seen you with your team when I first went to the Publica event, the opening. I've seen how you interacted. I was just kind of like, while I was doing my hair, just observing, right?
Wow, so you were watching the whole time.
I think I was watching everyone and of course you as well. And I was just seeing the way you guys interacted. It's, how do I put it in words? It's like a family, the way you guys speak to each other, to encourage each other. And of course, you did mention that, I forgot her name, the girl that was doing my hair, but you did mention to me, hey, this is, let's just put Cheryl, starts with S. I forgot her name. And you said, she used to work with me, but now she's my business partner.
I think it's Shen.
Shen. There we go. Yes. I remember that conversation. I'm like, oh, wow. But I always wanted to ask you, how did that come along? Like, how did someone that you hired ended up being your business partner? And what was your thought process behind that approach as well? Because they are not investors that you seek out from, but these are people that,
entrepreneurship.
Like enrolled to Cocodry, wanted to work with Cocodry, but ended up being a business partner and having an part ownership of the brand as well. So like who taught you that and how did that come about? Tell us.
I think how did that come about was I wanted to make an impact in the beauty industry. And I think it all started from my childhood as well. Everything is like back to my...
Everything, trust me, it is.
Yeah. I think I grew up in an environment where I witnessed firsthand that stay-at-home moms, I mean, like this will sound a little bit like controversial, but I think I'm just speaking based on what I have experienced. And I've noticed firsthand that, stay-at-home mom or like women who contribute so much to family, but they don't contribute to a business financially, are always being looked down on. That's number one. And then number two, I've also seen how helpless they are when they're stuck in a very toxic marriage and they can't get out of it. Because in a way, they are so detached from the society and they couldn't leave, because if they leave, they couldn't go anywhere. And, I've seen how vulnerable they were. And I told myself, I don't want to put myself in this situation. And if I can, and if any woman wants to, I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. That kind of helplessness and vulnerability and, So even when I started a business, I think Blow Dry Bar was a pure coincidence. And it has always been like the impact that you can make in the society as well, putting profitability, aside. So, and I know that in the long run, as a business owner, as a leader, I can only do so much, right? And I really want to impact the people, not just our guests to make them feel confident, but people who actually believe in the idea to actually hold a stake, in the business as well. And that's how the idea come about. And even when it comes to climbing the corporate ladders, But then the thing is, you will never have a stake in the company. You are always working for other people. And then in this case, I always tell them that whatever that you're doing now, you're not going to do it forever. And I believe in having people to work with me, you know, not just for me. But obviously, I think everyone has a choice. You know, they can always do whatever that makes them happy. It's just that when it comes to me, and also for other women that want to build something for themselves, I just want to be able to encourage them and also for them to believe in themselves and to step up of their comfort zone. Yeah.
I love that. I need to let that sink in a little bit. Bella is also like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And I think I'm curious though, like then what is your requirement before you even reach out to your team to have a stick in your company? What do you look for?
What do I look for?
Yeah.
Trust. I think that's the very number one thing that I look for in terms of partnership.
For sure.
You need to be able to trust the person fully and wholeheartedly, and knowing that they will also give their 100% in the business, not just 50%. There's no such thing. I believe in giving 100% in every single thing that you do. You can't really divide yourself. Yeah.
Trust is the number one thing.
And also, I would say, I won't say time, because I always look at people with like potential of growth. It's not like, okay, you fought with me for about like 3 years. Okay, so it's your time, you know, to be my partner. But no, but it also depends on like the values that you have brought into the company, right? And also me being able to trust you as a business partner. That's very important.
Do you have a mentor in business? Or
Many.
And do you think that's very important for entrepreneurs? Having mentors that can lead them, guide them.
Yes.
And what is that irreplaceable, money cannot buy value that you have with your mentors right now?
Money cannot buy value that I have with my mentors
Yeah, what
right
is
now.
that priceless thing that you have with your mentors?
The priceless thing.
Yeah.
Relationship. I think it's relationship. And I think even when it comes to mentors, at every phase of my career, I meet very different people.
Yeah.
That somehow they'll just come into my life and offer really, really good advices that makes me rethink, you know, my strategy and if I'm doing certain things right.
Yeah.
So
everything is priceless. This entire experiences.
yes, everything is priceless. It's the entire experiences and also the trust that they have in me as well, that they believed in someone that has literally zero experience in business and they are willing to invest their time in me. And I remember one of them, her name is Doris. Yeah, so she's actually one of my investors and also my mentor. She once told me that, Kim, I know you have attended many business courses, but I would like to send you to this course in Taiwan. And then I was like, Doris, like here I am, like trying to raise funds. Clearly, I don't have enough funds to support myself to fly to Taiwan to attend the course that you told me about. And she's like, no worries, like I want to support you.
Yeah.
Because I believe that this will be good to you. It's nothing to do with business,
Yeah.
but it is something to do with the core of being a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 学会做人, you know,
Yes,
that's what
yeah.
she said in Mandarin.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, 做人, like how hard is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I did accept her offer and she only met me for like months.
Yeah.
And I was pitching to her and she wanted to send me to Taiwan to learn how to 做人. I took the offer. Obviously, like after I started making money and I returned her, like the course fee and everything. But like I was just so touched.
Yeah.
And then when I was there, I finally understood why she did what she did. It's about paying it forward. When she was younger,
Yeah.
there were people that have helped her.
Yeah.
And right now, she sees something in me, like, you know, like her younger self.
Yeah.
And she just wanted to pay
Pay
it
it
forward.
forward,
And
yeah.
I was just so touched. Like, I never imagined
Yeah.
that a random stranger that I've just met would offer me such opportunity. And I'm eternally grateful
Yeah.
for that. And it was also the first time that she has sent someone that she barely know to attend that course in Taiwan.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
So that was one of my mentors. And
Yeah.
there were many more that
Yeah.
taught me about crowdfunding and etc.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah.
that is definitely something that really makes a difference in your journey, I see.
It does.
And speaking of investors, what was your first few conversations like? Were you rejected in your very start? I want to know all that before you started Cocodry, because like you said, no one has done it. In fact, no, wait. Someone has done it and they failed.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to convince your investors that I will make Cocodry work? I want to know what was the conversations like, if you can share.
What was the conversation like?
I mean, not in detail, but like, did you get rejected? And if yes, like what was that like? Yeah.
Yes, I would say 50% rejection. But in my head, it was all about numbers game. If out of 10 investors I pitched to, one say yes to me. If I need 5 investors, I need to pitch to 50. So,
and how many did you pitch to?
A lot actually. I think about 20 over people. I think about 20 over, almost 30.
Wow.
Yeah, and I improvise my pitch deck every now and then based on the questions that they ask me. But like you said, like, how did I convince my investors to invest in me, right? Honestly, other than just doing enough research to show them that, hey, you know, this could actually be successful, you also need to be very clear on like why the previous one didn't make it. Yeah. So I was so grateful to be able to meet the previous owner, for her to actually share her war stories with me. Because a lot of people always talk about successes. You always learn from successes. But when do you ever learn from failures? Because I think you have so much to learn from that as well. Yeah, and that would also give you like a shorter route and prevent you from like banging walls and avoid the mistakes that they've done. Yeah. And other than that, I was actually very honest. I actually told my investors that I cannot guarantee you 100% that it's going to be successful. Yeah. I was very upfront. I was very honest. And I think that is the basis of a business. Yeah. Yeah. And I told them that there's a risk in every single business. Yeah. But what I can promise you is I can do my 100% to make sure that it is successful. But whether it will fail or it will be successful, I can't promise you that.
No one can guarantee that.
Yes. Yeah. So that was what I told them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Damn, I have a lot of questions now, guys. So we gotta be here for quite a bit. But yeah, and then let's fast forward to now that, you know, Cocodry is on its way to the 3rd outlet.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We don't know where it is yet, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And when would that be?
When?
Oh, we can't reveal yet.
Soon, by the end of this year.
Okay.
That's all I can reveal for now.
And you heard it here first on Head Over Heels. But yeah, I think you are so good at building teams. I think that's really what you are set out to do.
I don't know.
This is what I see, right? And this is what I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree as well. But what do you think are some of the most important building blocks to making a good team? I mean, good doesn't mean, you know, perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So in your experience so far?
In my experience, building blocks, I would say core values. I always talk about core values.
And what are the core values for Cocodry?
Customer experience is everything. Teamwork makes the dream work. The only constant in life is change. Act of kindness. Today must be better than yesterday.
Sorry,
5 core values.
The last one was?
Today must be better than yesterday.
Today must be better than yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So that's like the 5 core values that you drive your team.
The 5 core values. Yep. And that's also the benchmark of hiring as well.
And speaking of hiring, what's your hiring process like?
It really depends on the role. But since Cocodry is a service-based industry, so we can tap into a little bit about like hiring a good stylist. Right? So I always tell my team core values, attitude is more important than anything. No matter how good their skills is, but if they don't have the right core value, we will let them go. So one of the benchmark that we have set up is we actually have this phase called the no string attached phase. Okay. Yeah. So that's actually our training period for the first 1 week. Yeah. So it is for them to actually observe if Cocodry is the right place for them to work. You know, if they'll feel happy in this environment, do they feel connected with our culture? And also for us internally to actually observe if this person is the right fit for Cocodry. Yeah.
No strings attached.
No
right?
strings attached.
Formally kind of like probation, but I like the way you approached it and
Yes.
and kind of name it to no strings
Because I think
attached.
it's a two-way thing.
Yeah.
It's a two-way thing for them to observe as well, and
Correct.
also for us to decide.
Yes.
And within that 1 week, when you spend every single day with them, you can actually tell a lot about their personality, about their attitude. Do they fit into our core values? Do they practice teamwork? Are they kind people? Yeah.
And that reminds me of another question I want to ask is, how do you manage a poor performer? I mean, it's easy when someone is performing well.
Yes.
I think honestly, I have my own team as well, but I've also encountered recently that, I didn't know how to deal with a poor performer, especially if it was my first time.
Yes.
How do I have that conversation with a person when they are so unaware? And how do I convey that message across? And what should my next steps be? Giving chances? I think I've given enough. So what's next? Like, what is it like for you?
Honestly, it really depends. Because when it comes to poor performer, it really depends on poor in skills or is it poor in attitude?
Yeah.
Yes. I think Chinese has this saying, 江山易改，本性难移. Yeah. Like if I were to translate, it means you can change the shape of a mountain, but it's even harder to change someone's attitude and personality, especially when they have had it with them ever since they were little.
Yeah, I agree.
So when it comes to bad apple, unfortunately, we have to let them go.
Yeah.
It was very, very difficult for me.
Yeah.
I have always been very patient.
Yeah.
My team calls me soft-hearted. But then there was one day, one of my team members came to me, Kim, you're not doing charity. Yeah, coming from my team. I appreciate honest feedback because that's how I grow.
Yeah.
Yes. And after that, she even told me, while you're spending so much time trying to change a poor performer, you're also neglecting the people who are performing so well in the company. And our resources are also wasted. Don't you see that? And that's when I'm like, actually, she's right. And also at the same time, I was reading this book written by Netflix founder, No Rules Rule. So they did talk about high performers, medium performers, and low performers as well. And it all just kind of like made sense to me. And I just had to.
It's difficult, right?
It's very difficult.
Let someone go.
It is.
Yeah.
But when it comes to skill sets, when it comes to, I think it can be trained.
For sure.
As long as they have the will. And to me, it's like I always tell my team, I don't expect you to just grow from 1% to 100% within like a day. It's crazy. But let's say if you are better than yesterday, you are taking baby steps, you are making progress, and just focus on yourself. That's why today must be better than yesterday is actually, it's our core value. It's also a constant reminder for our team as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know this may be a difficult question for you, but what do you think, what's the kind of leader do you think you are? A soft-hearted one, we already know that.
Trying to be tough.
I know.
What kind of leader? Someone who's still a work in progress, definitely. But I think one thing is I actually encourage mistakes in my team. Yep. Because even me, I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And I will always own up to it.
Yeah.
I'll tell them that, hey guys, this is also my first time being a leader. It is always a work in progress and I still have so much to learn and we are constantly learning from one another. And if they make mistakes, I will always look into it and forgive them. But they shouldn't repeat again.
For sure.
Because I also believe that making mistakes, failure is also how you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how you learn faster even. But if you're so scared to even make mistakes, you will never learn. You will always be right at the same spot of where you started.
Yes.
Yeah.
At this point of your life right now, Kim, apart from your business, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Actually, there are a lot of things that make me happy.
Yes.
My career makes me very happy. I think honestly where I came from, I think I have come really, really far. It's like I'm literally living in my dream right now.
Yeah.
it's very crazy for me to like just put it out there. But if you knew me back then, like all my high school friends, they're like, oh my God, like this Kim is so different from that Kim. And who knew that this Kim could be this Kim?
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Kim Possible.
Kim
remember?
Possible. There you go. Yeah. I wanted to use that as my Insta IG, but someone took it already. So
wait, what is it now? It's
Kimmy It Real.
Yeah, Kimmy It Real.
Kimmy It Real.
Oh yeah, Kim Possible. My favorite cartoon back in the days.
Happy? Yeah, that's my favorite cartoon too.
Yeah.
What else makes me happy? I think it's just really surrounding myself with people that make me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, who are always encouraging me.
Yeah.
Traveling.
Yeah.
So recently I just came back from Italy.
Yes.
And I forgot how it was like
to travel.
And to have so much fun and feeling carefree, and that makes me happy too.
Yeah.
And I think it's also like looking forward to the next chapter of my life. I think it's really exciting.
Yes.
And I don't know, because I count my blessings every single day.
Yeah.
I have this gratitude journal where I practice gratitude because I think that's so important.
Yeah.
There's so many things, honestly. Everything makes me happy.
I love that. I love that you can't just pinpoint one, obviously,
it's so
because
hard.
it's such a blessing to have so many things to be happy about.
It is.
Really. Because for some people, it's so hard to even think of one. So I really like that. Thank you. I think at this point of our conversation, I can totally tell that you're that happy-go-lucky person, and you are someone who, even in your darkest times or lowest point, you will be able to somehow draw strength from within you or people around you to just keep pushing. Would you say you're like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think recently we hired an HR manager.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
thank you. So she was actually doing like a review with my team as well.
Yeah.
So I think one of the feedbacks that I've gotten from my team is positivity. Like, I'm very positive. If they don't know how I do it, they think I'm a little bit crazy sometimes. But I always believe that like you can always see light, you know, at the end of a tunnel. And my favorite quote is, what you think, you become. And I think thoughts are just so important, because the moment when you believe that it's a dead end, the moment when you believe that there's no other way out, you're doomed.
Yeah.
And it all starts from your thoughts, and then putting your thoughts into actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when I first opened Cocodry, one of my team members is like, I think my boss is crazy.
You.
Yeah. And then she was like, she's very concerned. And I just love how she compliments me in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I don't think our team is ready to even like open it. But I'm like, no, guys, like this is a launch day. We can do it one. It's okay. We'll just figure it out along the way. Let's just do it. Let's just open and see what happens next. But they were like, oh, but like they're not ready yet. Like, what about this skill? What about this? What about that? I'm like, it's okay. Like, we can do it. Like, just trust me.
Yeah.
And then, then she's like, my boss a bit crazy one, but I like it.
but I compliment her crazy, so it just works out.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Okay. So we got a question from the floor from our showrunner, Bella. She is so engrossed in this conversation. This is her first time asking a question during a live recording. So basically what she asked is that, you know, like, what is the foundation and the core principle of you doing what you do, you know, supporting, empowering women? Because the beauty industry is very, very competitive. And when competition exists, competition amongst peers exists at the same time. And sometimes that can look not so great. But your story is so interesting and inspiring, because you, in your journey of starting being a newcomer in the industry, you got so much support from also your women peers. And that, according to Bella, is quite unheard of. So what was that like? Do you want to share with us? Take your time.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this question because it's quite long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's when I first started. Yes, I had really great supportive mentors and peers, you know, that supported me. But there were also a lot of people that told me that I cannot do it. Yeah, I'm gonna fail. It's a very competitive market. I'm gonna get eaten alive by big fishes. Are you sure? Yeah, I do get that a lot as well. So I think it's really about being the change that you want to see. Because I think it's just mindset. In general, people are just more, I don't want to say negative, but you get where I'm coming from. Like every time when you have a new idea, people will be like, cannot one lah, you know? That kind of feeling.
I think a lot of doubt exists in the thoughts and mindset.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, are you sure? I mean, yeah, it's a good idea, but are you sure? Not completely being negative about it.
Correct. It's like, they actually come from good intention.
Yes,
They care for you.
Yeah.
They want the best for you.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I also see that there are a lot of people that put up limitations.
Yeah.
I can't do this because I don't have enough funds.
Yeah.
I can't do this because I don't have enough experiences.
Yeah.
And I think I just wanted to be the change, and I want to encourage more women to do that. And in terms of like, I would say competitiveness, I've seen back in my dad's generation on how the whole hair industry and beauty industry is very toxic. It's very, very toxic. They are constantly backstabbing one another, stealing each other's clients or even team members. And my dad has actually gone through a lawsuit because of that, because he was so up there and people just wanted to bring him down. And
so you've seen that happening right before your eyes.
Right before my eyes, betrayals, and I know that I couldn't change what happened to me back then. But I know I have the ability to change what I want the future to be. So even when it comes to starting a business, yes, like I said, profit is very important. But when times are hard, right, it is your purpose that keeps you going. Like, why did you start, at the very first place? Because I wanted to make a change in the beauty industry. Because of what I went through, I want me, myself, to be able to stand on my feet firmly on the ground and never have to, like feel helpless and whatsoever. So I would say it's a lot of like little factors that shapes my thoughts and my mindset and my decision into what it is today.
Yeah. And I think your foundation is so strong. Like you being able to watch your dad fail and succeed.
Yes.
And everything else in between. And that already gives you kind of like, I think your seeds has been planted in you since you were a child.
Yes.
And now you kind of know which seed I don't want in my pot. I don't know if that makes sense.
That is actually very true.
Right? Like,
yes.
Because for some people, they may not have that foundation.
Yeah.
Really completely starting from scratch. So they may not have the foresight of all these things. But like you said you're lucky, but not just lucky. You paid attention, you observed, and you actually put in the work. So I guess...
I think I guess I just didn't want history
to repeat itself.
And even I think there was once my husband told me this. He was like, a lot of people, they don't know what they want. It's okay. But you need to be clear with what you don't want.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so true.
Yes.
You can... Yeah, I mean, if you go deeper into it, a lot of the times we don't know what we want.
Yes.
And also we don't know what we don't want. That's when we get stuck.
Yes.
Right?
But actually, because I'm always trying to figure out like what's my purpose.
Yeah.
Like what's next for me, But when you have a strong foundation and you know, because it's like, okay, ice cream, or like chocolate. Oh, I don't like ice cream. Then you'll know, okay, I'm not going to order any ice cream. But sometimes you look at me, oh my God, like I want this, I want that. How do I pick? But once you eliminate what you don't want, I think it also helps me to figure out like what's right for me and what do I want in life based on my history and what I've observed ever since I was little. Because I know that, yes, my childhood was a little bit tough. I think I don't want history to repeat itself. Like where I was born, my childhood, I had no control of that. But I always know that I have control over how I want the next phase of my life to be. Yeah.
And that's the awesome part about you, Kim. Like you just have the passion, not just passion, the want, the vision to even do that. Not a lot of people can. Yeah. So really, really, thanks for sharing with us. Like, I got to pick your brain a little. I got to understand you so much more and just hear you sharing from your heart. And I think my last question, business related, after this we can move on a little. In your 3 years now?
3 years now.
3
Almost
years
3 years.
of building Cocodry, is there anything that you wish you did differently?
I don't think so. I think everything is right where it is supposed to be. I have made a lot of mistakes. I've bawled my eyes out. I've doubted myself along the way. But I believe that life is a learning process. And without all those milestones, you know, roadblocks, I wouldn't be where I am today.
For sure.
And even when it comes to milestone, it's like you have to trip in order for you to learn, in order for you to reach a milestone. So no. Even though sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I wish I've known this early. Oh my God, I want to move faster. I want to grow faster. But unfortunately, it doesn't work this way.
Yeah, it's all part of the process.
It's just part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growth is uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's going to make you sometimes doubt yourself. Wait,
Yes.
what am I doing? But that's all part of the process, right?
It is.
Okay. I have a very, this is such a random question. The team will be like, Maggie, where did that come from? How you never asked this for any other podcast? But here we go. Okay, Kim. So if you have a toolbox with you right now, it cannot be a beauty toolbox or a Cocodry labeled toolbox, whatever, the cute one, you know? If there's a toolbox with you right now, and in the toolbox, there can be 3 things. And these 3 things can be in the form of anything. It can be an item, a physical item. It can be a piece of paper with your note. It can be a value that's intangible. It can be an advice. And you are to pass this toolbox to someone else who's about to start his or her business. What would those 3 things in the toolbox be? As I was working on this episode, I thought about that. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, like mixing the potion.
Yeah. You can't do that.
I would say courage. Yes. Very important.
Because
you need to have courage to take the first step and to even get yourself started. And once you start, things will just flow. It's like bungee jumping, taking the first step off the what do you call that?
The cliff. The platform.
The platform.
Yeah.
The platform is always the hardest.
Unless you're Maggie, then maybe you never jump. I can't do heights. Oh yes.
Oh my gosh, I saw your video, the one where they hit the button and you be like,
it was. I hate free fall. Like it just makes my heart. I mean, that's the whole point, right? People like that, but I hate that drop in my heart.
I hated it too.
Yeah, I cannot.
Yeah.
I also don't want.
You did it anyway.
Forced to by my friends. The second ride, no, I didn't. I scolded them. I said, no, don't ask me to do this.
At the moment when you took the first step, and then looking back, and you just spread your arms and you just feel so good. So the first step is always the hardest. So courage, and also courage to make mistakes.
Yes.
Right. Courage to learn from it. You know, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2. What else? Tenacity. Tenacity is very important. When times are hard, you just don't give up. You will always need to find a solution and keep going no matter what. And I think that's something that I've learned during the MCO. It was really, really tough for me.
Yeah.
I only had 3 months of experiences in business, and suddenly it is MCO. What do I do next?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And also people telling me that, oh my God, Cocodry is going to close down. Are you going to be okay? And I'm like, no, I don't want it to close down. I just couldn't.
And you guys broke even in your first year, you mentioned?
Yes, we did. Right after the MCO.
How?
I think it's the seeds that you plant. So during the MCO, I think we just channel all our remaining resources into building our online presence, social presence, building genuine connections with our followers, like just talking to them, hey, do you have any problems? We're here for you. Just putting really good contents out there, trying to figure it out. Even content creation was like so new to me.
Yeah.
But I had to learn, and it is the only time where people paid so much attention on social media. So if they don't know about your brand, you're not doing something right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think when it was lifted and we were just full house ever since.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's the seeds that you plant when times are hard. Yeah.
Okay.
Tenacity is very important. And lastly, what else? To start a business.
It can be not advice. It can be anything.
I would say awareness and intention is very important. To be aware of the decisions that you have made and to self-reflect. Because a lot of times we just go, you know, like all the way.
Yeah.
But we don't really take a step back and actually reflect, are we doing things right? What are the things that I've learned, you know, like from this decision and to have the self-awareness to admit mistakes when you're wrong. And that's how you improve, and showing vulnerability to your team as well. And I always tell them, guys, honestly, I'm also very new at this. I'm also a boss for the very first time. It's a learning process for me as well. And that's how we grow together, showing vulnerability and being honest and being transparent with your team. That's a lot of words. But yeah, that's the toolbox.
All right. And that toolbox is for you who's listening right now. Whoever you are, we may have never met, or you may have never met Kim, but I hope that little toolbox will bring you somewhere, even if it's not to start a business, to start a little something, to do something new and different in your life. And I just felt like having the urge to say this is, I think a lot of the times we crave for big moments, big milestones, like having a business and then making it successful, like just so fixated on that big thing that we forget it's really all that small things in between, the mistakes, the difficult conversation, the cries, the everything that will get you there.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
you
things
can't
that
get
people
that.
don't see too.
People don't see.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about. So hopefully by changing the narrative, not really changing the narrative, shifting our focus off the conversation, off the narrative to, instead of spotlighting just success, I hope the conversations that we have on Head Over Heels can make you realize that we are also kind of spotlighting the pains, the middle. Like, remember Shannon said in a previous episode, the middle. I think ever since I had that conversation with her, it kind of shifted inside something in me that to kind of also shift my perspective, and it has really changed the way I think as well.
I can't wait to hear the podcast.
Yeah.
The middle. No, I'm curious what it is about.
So it should be out by the time this episode is out, but yeah, it will be out on the 4th of August. So by the time this is out, you guys can go check it out. All right. And we always end our podcast with 3 simple questions. You can say in a sentence or a short sentence or 1 word, okay? What are you currently head over heels for? I know this answer.
How do you know?
I don't know. It's either your baby or Cocodry. Am I right? Both your babies, or am I wrong?
I think it's just my life.
Yeah.
Right now.
Amazing.
I don't know how to put it, but I think I am where I am supposed
To be.
everything that I have right now. And also the next chapter of my life, even though there's a lot of uncertainty, challenges, I don't know what's coming my way, but I'm ready to like welcome it with open hands. At least I'm trying to.
A cute junior Cocodry baby is coming your way. A new outlet and an actual
both
human being
at the same time. Yeah,
that's amazing. I'm so excited for you. My next question is the best or worst advice you've ever received?
The best or worst advice? Okay, the worst advice. I have a best and a worst actually.
You can give each one each,
Okay. Just speaking from my personal experience and what didn't work on me. I think the worst advice is fake it till you make it. I think we get it a lot.
Yeah, we do. Especially when it comes to like confidence. Just fake it till you make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I understand the reason why this advice was given. It's probably from a good intention too. But I don't think it works on me. It's very hard for me to fake it when I don't believe in something. Or when I'm in a business meeting, if I don't know something and I have to act like I know it, it's just, to me, it's a little bit pretentious. And honestly, it's just from my personal experiences that brought me where I am today. It's actually the other way around.
Which is?
Honesty. It's really telling you, hey, honestly, I don't know that if this is going to work. I don't know if this is going to be 100% successful. And people that trust you will trust you. And people that appreciate honesty will come to you. And I think that's how I also attract the right people into my life. And, you know, the mentors, my investors, my friends that I've met along this journey knows me, like, for me. And also it's because of the honesty. I don't sugarcoat things. And I don't want to fake it.
I love that.
So I think that's
the
one.
bad advice.
The best advice is focus.
One word, simple.
It's just one word. I get bored so easily. That is the problem. Like, if you know me well, it's like, oh my God, guys, I have this business idea. I want to do this. I want to do that. And people will always tell me, Kim, focus. Even before I started, I had so many business ideas. My mentors was like, focus. And once Cocodry was up, and I'm like, okay, I want to be a serial entrepreneur. I want to start this. I want to start that. Focus. So
Focus.
I think that's something that is really important to me, especially when it comes to my personality, that I get bored very easily. I'm always attracted by like new things. And I think even earlier this year, there was the last event. Sorry, not the event. So I actually got a ring from Wanderlust, and I actually engraved the word focus.
Shout out to Jen. Thanks for the engraving services.
And also a daily reminder that I have to stay focused in what I do and don't get distracted so easily.
Distraction can really just kind of, you know, bring you off track a lot of the time. So yes. Focus. All right, one last one. I think...
One last one.
One last one. 3 words to describe your life right now.
3 words. Exciting. It's very exciting right now. Adventurous. Adventurous and limitless.
I love that.
Limitless.
And with that, we wrap up today's episode with Kim. Thank you so much. And could you just plug in your Instagram and Cocodry's Instagram to our listeners right now who could be their first time getting to know Cocodry?
Sure. So Cocodry's Instagram is cocodry.co. And my personal Instagram is KimmyItreal, KIMMYITREAL.
That's right, girl. And thank you so much for being on the show. I had so much fun getting to know you. I think we've met a couple of times at events, but never really got to sit down. And I think this is like my excuse to get people on the show with me, to get to know them. And I love that. And with that, I end the podcast and the show, this episode, with what I always say. That is to fall head over heels for yourself first and always. And until then, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.